Record? Yay. Okay, that worked. I just got to keep it cleaned out, I guess. Whatevs. I hate technology.
Oh, check this out. I know you probably understand.
I love The Office.
Yeah, it was like a complete guide. They break down almost every episode.
Oh my gosh.
There's no ads in the whole magazine.
Wow. That's fun.
My grandmother got it from the beginning. I started reading it yesterday.
Yeah.
I was doing the wind testing because I couldn't show it.
Yeah. All right. I think Corey will be here momentarily because I saw that he tried to sign in a little earlier. Christian. No Brendan yet.
And like they talk about
Hayward.
the UK office too at the beginning.
Have you ever watched it?
I've only watched the first episode, which is exactly like the US one.
Yeah.
But I want to. Yeah.
It's funny, but it's definitely like more British humor, and ours is more American.
I love.
I do too.
Dry British humor.
Is like I would say, like Michael Scott starts out really obnoxious, but like he really grows on you.
Right after 40-Year-Old Virgin came out, his character had to change.
Right. And the character, like what's his name? Ricky Gervais's character from like he never changes. Like he makes me like he's uncomfortable.
But yeah. No, I love like those short run. Like, are you familiar with The Detectorists?
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's this show, and they ran for like 4 seasons, and they're metal detector guys.
Oh.
And they call themselves detectorists.
Well, that's fun.
Because they, it's say, oh, you're a metal detector.
Yeah.
But
that's funny.
Lots of shenanigans that goes on with that.
All right.
Really
Unfortunately,
funny, really
I have to. I'd also recommend the show The IT Crowd if you've never watched it.
The what?
The IT Crowd.
Well, I think I've heard of that.
It's really funny, and it's all on Netflix. It's a British show about like people who work in an IT department at a big company, and it's so funny. Very British. Okay, I have like 20,000 tabs open at the moment. I should probably get rid of some of them.
Oh, that's cool.
But I want to. Okay. Let me get in our class's canvas. I was thinking our other couple of folks might show up, but I don't know what's happened to them.
Okay, this floor plan isn't exactly right.
For The Office?
Yes, the floor plan that they included. I know they should have than we do because I know that that's a standard. And they say nobody knows what it is, but I do.
Okay, folks. I just published a new module for Hamlet. And that's where I'm going to keep like major things for the play. I will still do like a weekly module, but just for like main stuff. Here comes Corey. I figured he'd show up. Let's go change his attendance.
Yes.
Actually, yeah, okay, cool.
And Aaron Rodgers did.
What have I just done? Wrong thing. Okay. Maybe the others will show up too. Brendan and Troy are our missing people, and I don't think that they are making up the test. Actually, I don't think the makeup test is still tomorrow anyway. Hopefully, we won't have anybody. Hopefully, everybody tested when they could test. Okay, so we're going to start Hamlet today, and actually, I'm going to move over there with you in just a minute, Chip. I'm going to share my AirPlay up here, and then I'll share my screen once I get this working. And Nate is also absent, but he is.
Hey, McClellan.
What's up?
All right, so what time does this class end?
What time does it start or end?
End.
It ends at 9:59.
9:59.
Yep.
Well, I might have to leave early because I have a job interview today. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. We're gonna start reading Hamlet today, so I'm actually gonna email.
I'll catch up. What chapters are we reading?
We're just gonna get as far as we can. So I'm gonna email Nate later as well to let him know how far we get so he can catch up. So I'll email you too if you have to leave early.
All right, and is there a Wednesday discussion thing today?
Well, today's Thursday,
Oh,
but
I'm done.
I posted it on Tuesday.
You posted on Tuesday, okay?
Yeah, this week I did Tuesday, Wednesday discussion post so that you could do it whichever day you weren't testing. So.
All right, because I was testing on Wednesday.
Gotcha.
And I didn't do it Tuesday. So.
Okay. I'm gonna move over here with Charles. Does anybody call you Charles?
No.
No, literally no one ever.
Yeah, no, I don't like it very much. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
The names I go by.
Do you go by others other than Chip?
Some people call me Daniel.
Oh,
I don't know. My
interesting.
dad is Daniel. So,
Yeah.
and I look exactly like him. I get called
Makes
Daniel.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, and I have it up here, although I'm sure Chip is actually just looking at his. Okay, well, never mind. I'm wrong. I just made a new Hamlet module.
I did not watch
Um, on Tuesday, that was when I published the discussion post. So like I kind of use Tuesday and Wednesday as like weird. Oh, because you pointed that out that like you didn't point that out?
No, I was just
or that you couldn't reply to it because it was an assignment instead of a discussion post? Maybe it was somebody else.
Maybe I didn't put that out. No, maybe I did.
Take a look at everybody's middle names while I'm submitting that attendance. The funniest middle name? I don't know. I don't want to go back and look now that we're. Okay, so I published, like I said, I made a new module for Hamlet. That's where I'll keep like major things for Hamlet. But most things will still be in weekly modules.
I didn't understand how your class was laid out online until I found the modules calendar.
Yeah, when they trained us on Canvas, they said like make modules your main thing.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And I just like it wasn't the number 1, 2, or 3 thing, and I thought, oh, she's not using it. So.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just left things in the order that they were, in like their default order. And I could probably actually, I took out a lot of the tabs, but I could probably even take out more.
Yeah, Mr. Johnson.
So it's just all, oh my gosh. So here I have posted the link to No Fear Shakespeare, which is open in one of my tabs, one of my million tabs. Here we go. I'm going to pull it over here.
Oh, yeah.
I have a billion tabs open at all times. I feel very like they're a security blanket or something. Like I cannot close them out.
I like having all the tabs because
I mean, that makes sense.
For assignments. So I have like, oh, I'm halfway through this. I'm doing this. I'm in the middle of this.
Right. It makes sense to me.
My computer to mom to start up testing, and he just
What a nightmare. You know what? I remember it when I think when Troy was in like 8th or 9th grade, and he's not here, so he is gonna think I'm talking smack about him. I'm not. It was very funny. But Troy and Francis both, Hayden, sorry, they were like press like command 4, command Q or whatever it is, and they were like it's a really cool thing, and I didn't know that it cut out all of my or closed out all of my tabs, and I was just like, why would you do this to me? Those knuckleheads. Just he moved to Missouri, yeah, for his dad's job. All right, I'm going to go back over the characters before we actually start reading. If you watched the video that I posted, and hopefully you did, this is No Fear Shakespeare, yeah. This is not the exact page it's going to take you to, but this is the character list. If you watch the video, I went through the characters a bit, but I want to make sure that I go over them and make sure that everybody kind of knows what we're getting into. I will warn you, there's at least one I think only one spoiler for someone who dies, but we know this is a tragedy. A lot of people are going to die. Fair warning. So obviously Hamlet is the main character. He is the Prince of Denmark. He's like about 30. If you're opening No Fear Shakespeare from the link, it'll go into this, and where I am is study guide and characters. He's like about 30 when the play starts. He is the son of Queen Gertrude, and his dad was King Hamlet. But King Hamlet has died, and the new king is King Hamlet's brother, Claudius. Well, what the heck? All right. Let me try again. It's not showing on my computer, but I am gonna just share on my, yeah. So Hamlet is very melancholy and cynical and emo, to be honest with you. And I mean, he has a big problem with the fact that his mother married his uncle, and very shortly after his dad's death too, like a month after his dad died, his mom. They're kind of valid, yeah. Like he's got a point. I would definitely have an issue with it if that were me. In the video that I posted, I like went through this presentation, and the first thing was like an exercise, which I didn't have you do, which you'll know if you watched it. But it was like, imagine that your dad is dead. Like, no, thank you. Like, I'm not gonna have students imagine that their dad is dead and their mom is like hooking up with their uncle. It's weird. It's weird in the story.
But she really thought it was. She really thought
Thank God.
my mom was gonna marry.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, so for the record, I'm sure most, if not all of you, have seen The Lion King. The Lion King's actually based on Hamlet, very loosely. I mean, you've got like the evil uncle, the dead dad, the prince who's like trying to rise through the ranks, and they don't really do this in the original one, but they do a little bit in the new like quote live action one, that like Scar had feelings for Simba's mom, and I mean like she doesn't return those feelings, and in the play the queen does return those feelings, but there's like there's a thing there, there's a parallel to be made. So Hamlet is also really smart. He's just come back from college at the University of Wittenberg. And like I mentioned in the video, he's very like indecisive and slow to action. He has to think through every decision he makes and like talk through it with his friends before he actually acts.
Oh shit! I spelled bananas wrong. B-A-N-A-N.
I'm gonna Brendan, because I can hear that somebody has just spelled banana wrong, and it's really funny. I think so. It was funny though. Oof. Okay, so then we have Claudius, who I also mentioned in the video. I call dibs on reading King Claudius. I don't know why he's like my favorite person to but he is. And like, I want to play King Claudius on the stage one day. And I know that's a weird like gender bending thing, but I just love his character. It's fun. He's the uncle. He's the antagonist. Is he a totally bad guy? No. He does actually like love his wife Gertrude, or at least it seems like that.
Wait, I thought King Claudius was going to die.
King Hamlet died, and now Claudius is the king. Yeah, and he's very calculating. He's very ambitious. He would totally be a Slytherin. And he is driven by his sexual appetites and his lust for power. Yeah, the weird thing is we don't have any women in this class, and like we have at least 2 female parts. I think only 2. We have Ophelia and Gertrude. Horatio is the best. Then we have Gertrude, who is obviously Hamlet's mom, who was married to his dad and is now married to his uncle. She really loves Hamlet, but the women in this play are kind of weak. Like they just don't have a lot of like agency for themselves, and she's very shallow and weak. She wants status and she wants affection from her husband and her son. And that's more important to her than like having integrity. Polonius is a fun part. He is kind of like the royal advisor, but he is arrogant and deceptive and a busybody. He's like super nosy. He's always got his nose in everybody else's business. But you've probably heard the famous quote, "To thine own self be true." And that's a Polonius quote. It's one of the most famous quotes from this. And he is the dad of Laertes and Ophelia, who we'll talk about in just a sec. Horatio, who is, in my opinion, the MVP of this play. He is Hamlet's best friend. They went to college together. He's like kind of his right-hand man. There's a little spoiler there if you guys are looking, but I don't think you'll be surprised. I think he's a fun part because for most of the play, Hamlet's just like talking at him and Horatio's like, yeah, cool, you right, like just really small lines, and then at the end he's got like this big long monologue, and I'm like, maybe Horatio couldn't get a word in edgewise for this whole time. Then we have Ophelia, who I think is interesting the way that they have phrased this. She's a beautiful young woman with whom Hamlet has been in love. It doesn't say he's currently in love with her. There's definitely like some drama in this situation, and we will see that Hamlet's like not really nice to her. She's very young and innocent. She lets the men in her life make decisions for her. Like I mentioned, the women in this play are pretty weak, and she's definitely one, but she's also just like sort of a victim of her times and the era that she lives in. Which is unfortunate. She's lovely, but she just like lets everybody tell her how to behave. She like does everything her father says, which like her father's not a good guy. And eventually she goes insane. And then you have her brother Laertes, who is kind of one of the reasons I definitely want you guys to watch the video that I posted is because I talk about literary foils. Which is essentially a character that is used to highlight the attributes of the main character. And Laertes is definitely a foil for Hamlet because they're in similar situations. Like they're both aristocrats. They have a lot in common, but Hamlet needs to talk through every single thing that he's thinking, and like he has to weigh out, he really stews on every decision. Laertes is a doer. He gets in there, he makes decisions, he's quick to action. And it just it really highlights the difference between them. So Fortinbras doesn't have a huge part in this play, but he does eventually show up. They talk about him a good bit. Fortinbras is a fun name. He is the Prince of Norway. So, you know, obviously he and Hamlet are going to have some stuff in common. They're both princes. But Hamlet's dad killed Fortinbras's dad. So now he wants to attack the country in order to, like, take vengeance on his dad.
I thought, I read it, I thought.
Yeah, King Fortinbras Sr. killed Fortinbras. No, sorry. Nope. King Fortinbras Sr. killed Hamlet Sr. And now Fortinbras Jr. wants to take vengeance on Hamlet Jr. and the whole country.
Right, okay, yeah, I thought that Fortinbras Sr. killed Hamlet Sr. And now.
Yes.
Or no, I thought that. Wait, Fortinbras killed Hamlet.
Yes.
Okay, I thought that you just said that.
Daddy Fortinbras killed Daddy Hamlet.
Okay.
And now
Then why does
baby Fortinbras wants to hurt baby
why
Hamlet.
Does baby Fortinbras need to get revenge then?
Just presumably because he loved his dad.
No, right here, because King Fortinbras was killed by Hamlet's father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought that Hamlet's dad was killed by King Fortinbras, and that's what he needs to happen.
Oh, no.
Okay.
We will find out why King Hamlet is dead. Mostly because the ghost shows up. The ghost of Hamlet's dad shows up. He's actually like in the very first scene, and it says he claims to have been murdered by Claudius, and wants Hamlet to avenge him. And also in the video that I posted, I showed another like video within the video about how people felt about ghosts back then, because there was no question really of like, do ghosts exist or do they not? People definitely thought ghosts existed, but it was a matter of, is this a good ghost or a bad ghost? Like, why is it here? Is it sent from the devil, or is it actually like this person's spirit trying to tell me something? So Hamlet is trying to decide whether this ghost is even real, like if it's his dad, should he do what it says? And that's one of his kind of major conflicts. He's got two friends named Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. In fact, there's a whole nother play, which we won't read, not written by Shakespeare, called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. And it's actually a comedy, and it's like all about the two of them, and like they're just kind of idiots. But that's a fun play. And they were his friends at college too. And I know, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. It's kind of like Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, you can get kind of close to that name and people will know who you're talking about. And I feel like it could be like Rosenplan, Gildabubble. So they, I've heard about that. It's wild. People will name their kids crazy things. Gertrude and Claudius, Uncle Daddy, they kind of hire Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, even though they're Hamlet's friends, to be like, what's going on with Hamlet? Can you spy on him for us? And all these last characters are like lesser characters. You've got Osric, who is a jester, basically, and a couple of courtiers, Voltimand and Cornelius, and then these next, Marcellus, Bernardo, and Francisco. They actually open the play, so we will need people to read those pretty immediately. They're not big characters. They're not important. They're not important.
Like the girls that sing in Hercules. Kind of. I know this isn't a singing.
Right.
But like that same kind of role.
Sort of, yeah.
You know, okay, where they're just like they move you through the story a little bit.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think I'm not sure that they actually show back up very much, though. I'm trying to remember, but Shakespeare's actually like got kind of a penchant for like introducing, like starting a play with a couple of lesser characters who never show up again. They just sort of like get the action going. Like in Romeo and Juliet, the whole thing starts with like the fight in the streets.
Yeah.
That's been a while. I don't know if you remember that, but like Samson and Abraham and Gregory. And we don't ever see them again. They just kind of serve to like start the action. And that's sort of what Marcellus and Bernardo and Francisco are there for. And then you have Ronaldo, who is Polonius' servant and not terribly important. But now that we've gone through all those and you kind of know who these people are, we're going to read. We're going to go into Act 1. We have Bernardo and Francisco. I believe we also will have Marcellus and Horatio. So we're going to need 4 people to read, and I'm cool with reading one if I need to, if you guys don't want to, if not enough people want to read. But if you go under No Fear Translation, it should take you to like the list of acts, and we're just going into Act 1, Scene 1. So can I get a couple people to read Bernardo and Francisco? I mean, I'll definitely like volunteer some people. All right, Sterling has too much background noise. These are very small parts for the record, guys. If you take one of these, it might save you from a bigger part later. All right, I'll read Bernardo. Ian, will you read?
All right, bye, Miss McClellan.
Okay, bye, Corey. Ian, will you read Bernardo?
Sure.
Okay, and then Chip is going to read Horatio, and we'll also need a Marcellus. Everybody is volunteering you, Hayward.
Yes, Hayward, you're Hayward. Yes, yes.
It's a pretty small part. Do you mind reading it?
I should wait. Hayward, don't do it. Be Hamlet.
Brendan says he'll type it. I did mute your mic, Brendan. I don't know if that was a thing because I heard somebody like talking about how they misspelled bananas in the background. So you could just be muted. Okay, Hayward, do you mind reading Marcellus when we get to him? I'm not sure Hayward's with us. He did not say anything. Christian, I'm going to make you read it because you're volunteering everybody else.
Okay, are we reading the original text?
Let's read the modern text, and then for like big speeches and stuff, I'll have a switch to the other one. In fact, we're going to like, in his most famous speech, To Be or Not to Be, we're going to take a really close look at that one in the original. Okay, Christian, will you read Marcellus when we get to it? All right, perfect. Okay, let's get a move on. Bernardo and Francisco are like on the ramparts. So Bernardo, Ian.
Who's there?
No, who are you? Stop and identify yourself.
Long live the king.
Is that Bernardo?
Yes, it's me.
You've come right on time.
The clock's just striking 12. Go home to bed, Francisco.
Thanks for letting me go. It's bitterly cold out, and I'm depressed.
Has it been a quiet night?
I haven't even heard a mouse squeak.
Well, good night. If you happen to see Horatio and Marcellus, who are supposed to stand guard with me tonight, tell them to hurry.
I think I hear them. Stop. Who's there? And next page, Horatio.
Friends of this country.
And Marcellus, that's Christian. I don't know if you guys can hear Chip super well, but hopefully so.
I can kinda.
Okay. No, Christian, I can't hear you at all. I see that your mic's unmuted.
He's just going.
Huh. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Okay, I think Christian signed out to see if he could get back in. I'll read it until he comes back in. Friends of his country and servants of the Danish king. Good night to you both. Goodbye. Who's taken over the watch for you? Oh my gosh, I'm just talking to myself here. Bernardo is taking my place. Good night. Okay, my first character's out here. Hello, Bernardo.
Hello, is Horatio here too? Welcome, Horatio. Welcome, Marcellus.
So tell us, did you see that thing again tonight?
I haven't seen anything.
Horatio says we're imagining it and won't let himself believe anything about this horrible thing that we've seen twice now. That's why I've begged him to come on our shift tonight, so that if the ghost appears, he can see what we see and speak to it.
Or nonsense. Not one of them.
Sit down for a while and we'll tell you again the story you don't want to believe in about what we've seen 2 nights now. Last night, when that star to the west of the North Star had traveled across the night sky to that point where it's shining now, at 1 o'clock, Marcellus and I.
And the ghost comes in. At this point, the ghost is not going to have any lines. Christian, I was just reading it while you restarted. Do you want to see if your mic works? I'm guessing not. We don't hear you. I don't know what's going on with that, but
I mean, I guess you did it.
yeah. Okay. I don't know, Christian. I hate it. We'll get you reading later on. Quiet, shut up. It's come again.
Looking just like the dead king.
You're well educated, Horatio. Say something to it.
Doesn't he look like the king, Horatio?
Very much so. It's terrifying.
It wants us to speak to it.
Ask it something, Horatio.
What are you that you walk out so late at night? God, I order you to speak.
Sorry. It looks like you've offended it.
Look, it's going away.
Say, speak, speak. I order you to speak.
It's gone. It won't answer now.
What's going on, Horatio? You're pale and trembling. You agree now that we're not imagining this, don't you? What do you think about it?
I swear to God, if I hadn't seen this with my own eyes, I'd never believe it.
Doesn't it look like the king?
Yes, as much as you look like yourself. The king was wearing exactly this armor when he fought the king of Norway, and this crown just like the king did once he attacked the Poles, traveling on the ice and sleds. Weird.
It happened like this twice before, always at the exact same time. He stalks by us at our post like a warrior.
I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I have a general feeling this means bad news for him.
I just also wanted to point out the fact that I love that they're like, Horatio, you went to college. You can talk to this ghost. Like that gives him the right, I guess. All right, let's sit down and discuss that question. Somebody tell me why this strict schedule of guards has been imposed and why so many bronze cannons are being manufactured in Denmark and so many weapons bought from abroad and why the shipbuilders are so busy they don't even rest on Sunday. Is something about to happen that warrants working this night and day? Who can explain this to me?
I can, or at least I can describe the rumors. As you know, our late king, whom we just now saw as a ghost, was the great rival of Fortinbras, king of Norway. Fortinbras dared him to battle, In that fight, our courageous Hamlet, or at least that's how we thought of him, scalable and Fortinbras, who, on the basis of a valid legal document, surrendered all his territories along to his conqueror. If our king had lost, he would have had to do the same. But now old Fortinbras, Bras's young son, also called Fortinbras, he is bold but unproven, has gathered a bunch of thugs from the lawless outskirts of the country for some food. They're eager to take on the tough enterprise of securing the land to the other Fortinbras realm.
That's a nice bit of exposition there, just to kind of like catch us up on what has happened between these two countries. And I mean, I think it also is kind of important because he says that it's not like he stabbed Fortinbras in the back or anything. They, like, their countries were fighting and it was legal and like everything was valid, and he had to like surrender his lands and be killed because that's what happens during war. Oh, sorry, this page. Oh, huh. That's still you. That's still Horatio at the top of the page. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
As far as I understand, that's why we're posted here tonight and why there's such a commotion in Denmark lately.
I think that's exactly right. That explains why the ghost of the late king would haunt us now, since he caused these wars.
The ghost is definitely something to worry about. In the high and mighty Roman Empire, just before the Emperor Julius Caesar was assassinated, corpses rose out of the graves and ran through the streets of Rome, shivering. There were shooting stars and blood mixed in with morning dew, and threatening signs on the face of the sun.
Hello? Y'all can hear me?
Christian, we can hear you.
Okay, all right. There's told me I had this. What he said?
Okay, well you can read Marcellus now when he comes back up.
All right.
Horatio,
The moon, which controls the tides of the sea, was so eclipsed it almost went completely out. We've had similarly terrible things coming, as if heaven and earth is joined together to warn us what's going to happen.
ghost coming back in.
Hey, look, it is coming in. I'll need it if it's the last thing I do. Stay here, you hallucination. If you have a voice or can make sound, speak to me.
Still you.
If there's any good deed I can do that will bring you peace and me honor, speak to me. If you have some secret knowledge of your country's sad fate, which might be avoided if you knew about it, then please speak. Or if you've got some buried treasure somewhere, which they say often makes ghosts restless, then tell us about it. Stay and speak.
Rooster crowing.
Keep it from leaving, Marcellus.
Should I strike it with my spear?
Yes, if it doesn't stand still.
It's over here.
There it is.
It's gone. It's gone. We were wrong to threaten it with violence, since it looks so much like a king. Besides, we can't hurt it anymore. Then we can hurt the air. Our attack was stupid, fatal, and wicked.
It was about to say something when the rooster crowed.
And then it acted startled, but the guilty person caught by the law. I've heard that the rooster awakens the god of day with its trumpet-like crowing, and makes all wandering ghosts, wherever they are, hurry back to their hiding places. You just seem to think that.
Yes, it faded away when the rooster crowed. Some people just before Christmas, the rooster crows all night long, so that no ghost dares go wandering and the night is safe. The plants have no sway over us. Fairies' spells do not work, and witches can't bewitch us. That's how holy that night is.
Yes, I've heard the same thing and sort of believe it. But look, morning is breaking beyond the hill of the east, turning the sky red. Let's interrupt our watch and go tell young Hamlet what we've seen tonight. I'm sure this ghost that's so silent with us will speak. So you agree? Wholly agree that we owe it to him to tell him about this, out of duty and love.
Let's do it. I know where we'll find him this morning.
Okay, so they've seen this ghost that looks like the king, and they're worried about it and scared of it. But then they kind of, you can sort of see the attitude that they have about ghosts. Like they're definitely real, and we just have to determine whether they're good ghosts or bad ghosts, because they talk about stabbing it with a spear and stuff, and they're like, oh well, if this is actually the ghost of the dead king, we shouldn't do that. Like that's not how you treat a king, even a dead one. And I also think that little bit that Marcella says about how like on Chris or like right before Christmas, ghosts can just wander because that's like a holy time and they're not going to scare anybody. Like nothing bad can happen to people essentially, which is silly, but um, yes. Yes, that's kind of it. Yeah, what Chip said, if you guys couldn't hear, was that like he gets the sense that Horatio's more long-winded and chatty when he's not around Hamlet, because Hamlet will just kind of bulldoze over him, and that's true. Hamlet is a chatty dude. So they're gonna go try to find Hamlet and tell him that we think your dead dad is haunting the place. We have a lot of people in this scene, which we won't get through this whole scene. How many pages is it? We will not get through this scene. But we have Claudius. I'll read Claudius. And you know what? I might do an accent. I might. Gertrude. Somebody want to read the Queen?
See Bobby, see Bobby, see Bobby.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Oh, that would be so fun if we get Miss Blackmore to come in and do it. I welcome people to come in and read. Hamlet. Somebody want to take up Hamlet? Hmm? Hamlet's the main dude. Hmm?
I would do it, but
That's true.
I certainly can't be Hamlet and Horatio.
You could not be Hamlet and Horatio. They talk to each other a lot. Troy, you want to read Hamlet?
Yes.
Troy never speaks in this class unless he's actually here in person. Troy, he actually says he can't talk. His mic, I guess. We're working on a few people. Like not that many people actually have mic abilities today. That sucks. I know. Let's see. Who else? Brendan said his mic didn't work. Right, I kind of hear the light too.
I think my mic work now. I think it worked. Y'all can hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
Mama.
Well, that was happy because
I know, but I'm just saying because all before my mic been off, my
I
mic
know,
on
but
now.
that's why I said snap instead of the other word.
All right. I'm just letting you know.
Hey, Mrs. Gary.
Oh, Miss McClellan said hi.
Who?
Miss McClellan.
Hi, Miss McClellan.
Okay, Brendan, you can be Hamlet.
Hamlet,
Hamlet, the main dude.
the main guy. Okay.
Okay. You're going to be reading a lot more than one sentence this time.
Oh, no. All right.
Polonius. Eli, is your mic working? Can you read Polonius?
Sorry, will you say that again?
Can you read Polonius?
I can't get on Canvas on my computer, but
Well, I'm sharing my screen,
Okay.
so you should be able to see.
Claudius?
Polonius. Polonius is, Claudius is like the main bad guy. Polonius is like a secondary bad guy.
I don't see where that is.
He will be coming in. He's not
Oh,
here
okay.
yet. But, well, they're all in the scene, but he just doesn't have a line quite yet. And then we'll have Laertes and Ophelia, which does somebody want to read Ophelia?
My mom's teaching, so I can't hear part of what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Hayward, can you read Laertes? We're about to run out of time, actually. Let's
You used to make a chart.
I know you. Okay. I'm just gonna start this, and like because we only have a few minutes, I might read a couple of parts that I'll give to other people later. But we need to get moving. So here we go. I'm gonna start as Claudius. Y'all can just like deal with my weird accent that I'm gonna read it with, but I just love it. Although I still have fresh memories of my brother, the elder Hamlet's death, and though it was proper to mourn him throughout our kingdom, life still goes on. I think it's wise to mourn him while also thinking about my own well-being. Therefore, I've married my former sister-in-law, the Queen, with mixed feelings of happiness and sadness. I know that in marrying Gertrude, I'm only doing what all of you have wisely advised all along, for which I thank you. Now, down to business. You all know what's happening. Young Fortinbras, underestimating my strength or imagining that the death of the king has thrown my kingdom into turmoil, dreams of getting the better of me and never stops pestering me with demands that I surrender the territory his father lost to the elder Hamlet, my dead brother-in-law. It's his actual brother. I don't know why he says brother-in-law. So much for Fortinbras. These other two dudes come in. Now, here's what needs to be done. I've written to Fortinbras's uncle, the present head of Norway, an old bedridden man who knows next to nothing about his nephew's plans. I've told the uncle to stop those plans, which he has the power to do, since all the troops assembled by young Fortinbras are Norwegian, and thus under the uncle's control. I'm giving the job of delivering this letter to you, good Cornelius, and you, Voltimand. Your business in Norway will be limited to this task. Now, goodbye. Show your loyalty by leaving quickly rather than with elaborate speeches. I love that he's like, show your loyalty by getting the heck out of here. Leave me alone. We'll do our duty to you and that and everything else. I have no doubt that you will. Goodbye. And now, Laertes, what do you have to tell me? You have a favor to ask of me. What is it, Laertes? You'll never waste your words when talking to the King of Denmark. And what could you ever ask for that I wouldn't give you? Your father and the Danish throne are as close as the mind and the heart, or the hand and the mouth. What would you like, Laertes? I think, Hayward, that's you.
My lord, I want your permission to go back to France, which I left to come to Denmark for your coronation. I confess my thoughts are on France. Now that my duty is done, please let me go.
And you know what? I'm actually going to have to stop us there for today because we have 1 minute until the bell. I think I will just kind of like make a list. You did your one line very well.
Read it, read.
I know. We're like, Hayward's going to read it. And then like one thing. So I'll actually like make a little list of like who's going to read what part and everything. And we'll have that for tomorrow. So I will see you guys tomorrow.